Welcome to the road to 1 million US dollars. And before I dive into this Bitcoin analysis for today, guys, I want to quickly mention that I have opened the trading signals once again, and you can get access to this completely for free. So I'm going to link to this in the pinned comments of this video. Now, if you're wondering what Exchange Hogs is, this is actually my new project that I just revealed here. So go ahead and check this out on exchangehogs.com or simply with the link in the pinned comment of this video. Now, let's dive right into this Bitcoin analysis for today. Let's start on the 3-day time frame, because notice how right here we have a touch with this ascending trend line in the Bitcoin price, currently sitting at about 114.5k or so. And notice how so far we are seeing a little bit of a bounce to the upside after touching that trend line, and that is a first sign that potentially we could be seeing some kind of bounce soon. However, I wouldn't celebrate too early because we need to get a lot more confirmation before we can start flipping much more bullish on Bitcoin. But I will get to that in just a second in this analysis today, of course. Something else I wanted to point out is this ascending line of support sitting at 112.5k. Just in case we end up breaking down below that 114.5k level, that would be the next area of support to pay attention to, because breaking through that, guys, it would be seriously bearish for Bitcoin. We're already talking about like 105k in the Bitcoin price after that. Obviously, all of this is like very, very early warning signals because we haven't even broken down below that first trend line yet. But it is something to keep an eye on, especially with this massive bearish divergence that we have in the charts here on the weekly time frame, which is when you have higher highs in the Bitcoin price and lower highs in the RSI momentum indicator. In the case that you don't know, typically this plays out either in the form of some choppy sideways price action or potentially some bearish momentum. And therefore, we need to keep an eye on these warning signals, because besides that, we also have this rising wedge pattern for Bitcoin with the level of support on the weekly time frame sitting at about 116.5k. If we start getting weekly candle closes below this level, then we are setting up a price target at 85k in the Bitcoin price. This is why my videos recently have been a little bit more bearish, because obviously, for example, this 2-day time frame as well, we haven't even seen a 2-day candle close above this 120k level for Bitcoin. And notice how this is just a massive area of resistance that we keep getting rejected from over and over again. So before I can flip much more bullish on Bitcoin, I need to see a 2-day candle close above this 120k level. So long as this does not happen, it is unreasonable for me to be bullish on Bitcoin on the higher time frames. Now, something else we could take a look at is this 2-hour time frame. So now we're diving into the immediate short term for Bitcoin. Notice how right here we are just in a clear downtrend at the moment, with resistance sitting at about 116.5k once again. If we were to break through this area of resistance, there's already another area of resistance right above that, sitting from 116.8 up to 117.2k. However, breaking through here and breaking through that Fibonacci golden pocket would actually be pretty bullish in the short term. And besides that, now that I have shown you that area of resistance, we can take a look at another Fibonacci retracement here from this wick high all the way down to this wick low. If we're really looking for that bullish confirmation of another move massively to the upside, possibly even creating new all-time highs, we need to see a break of this Fibonacci golden pocket on the 2-hour time frame, which currently is sitting from 120.7 all the way up to 121k in the Bitcoin price. If we start breaking through that, guys, then obviously we are very likely going higher after that. Of course, nothing I say in my videos is financial advice, but I'm simply telling you what I'm seeing in the charts, and you can do with that information what you like. But even with me talking about some potential bullish scenarios, keep in mind that at the moment we are simply in a downtrend, okay? So we're making lower highs and lower lows, and therefore we should expect this to continue until we see some kind of break of the current market structure that we are in. Next, moving on to the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. First of all, on this 3-day time frame, notice how right here we have liquidity to the upside sitting at 118.9k, but we already have a bunch of liquidity to the upside here up to 117.5k. And besides that, if I zoom out to this 2-week time frame now, recently we had massive liquidity to the downside at around that 115.5k level. And notice how right here we have now taken out all of that liquidity there. There's only some liquidity left at around 114.4k, but notice how now this massive pocket of liquidity to the upside has appeared at around 120,000. And in the case that you don't know, typically the Bitcoin price gets attracted to where there is the most liquidity in this chart. So if you combine this with the technical analysis that I just showed you, if we're breaking the downtrend and we're breaking that critical area of resistance that I showed you, then from there we could be targeting this 120k level in order to take out all of that liquidity there, with of course us after that looking on that 2-day time frame to see if we're getting confirmation of a further move to the upside from there. However, if I zoom out to this 3-month time frame, this is starting to look a little bit more bearish because there's just very scarce liquidity to the upside, except for at around 125 and 120k, but we do have massive liquidity to the downside. So especially on this higher time frame, for example, this 3-day time frame here, keep in mind that if we're breaking down below this ascending trend line, then very likely we're coming down lower to come grab a bunch of liquidity here. Now, lastly, for the Bitcoin ETF flow tables, I do not have any new data yet. That will be coming in tomorrow because it's always 24 hours late and they don't trade on weekends. Now, before I close off today, make sure to go ahead and check out my trading signals, which you can join completely for free on exchangehawks.com/signals. I will leave a link to this in the pinned comment of this video, and make sure to join and complete all the steps on this page before Thursday, guys, because Thursday I am no longer accepting new requests into the signals group for at least another 1 to 2 weeks here. And therefore, if you want to get access as soon as this actually opens, you need to complete the steps before Thursday. So this has been today's market update. Thank you very much for watching once again, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one.